Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to TRG Central. Tonight we'll be continuing our coverage of the winners of 2 plus Triple Crown races and Special Friend Tourney. This is episode 5. Be sure to check out our other episodes for information about this series. First up on the agenda tonight, we'll have a little questions and answers segment. What we'll be doing is going over the race charting screen. And essentially what that is, it's a screen that mimics the race charting for the APBA board game. Let's see if we can find a race or two that actually has the chart. Maybe this one does.
Welcome to APBA Downs, home of the APBA Gold Cup.
Back up here, let's see the utilities. You see any race results for this season. And you see the season active date of this is the 1975. So races, let's try one more. If there isn't any, we'll go ahead and just run one. See if this happens to have one. You go up here and you see an option called display charting sheet. And here's one for the Belmont Stakes of 1975. Oh, sorry, 1974. So anyway, essentially what it does is tell you the number of movement points you have available to start each of the game turn. And normally a game turn would be 1 furlong. So in this particular case, Belmont Stakes have 12. So you see what the horse movement points were at the beginning of each one of the game turns. And then the second line underneath it is how many movement points were left over. So as you see, for Little Current, he had 95, but for some reason he wasn't able to use 12 of them, so it was carried over into his second turn and so forth. All the way down to the last game turn, and then the extra that's in the last game turn can be used as possible tiebreakers. I just wanted to go over that because when we were doing the one of the races from the tournament, all these numbers were 0. And that's because there's a couple parameters that kind of control how many movement points are able to be carried over to the next game turn. In the board game, you can carry over as many movement points as you want. And had occasion where you would save a whole bunch of movement points to the last turn. And yeah, that's cool to watch the horse kind of like come from behind and pass a few horses. The problem with that is since we track the times for each segment, you'll find that that time for that horse is far faster than any horse would normally go. So you kind of want to balance that a little bit. So in order to do that in the Windows game, and of course it can be also used in the board game, and I came up with a couple options. and that jockey rating affects movement left, and horse index affects movement left. Essentially, what these two options do is limit the number of movement points that can be carried over. And you can put them in tandem, or you can turn one or the other on. And essentially what that does is only allow the horses to carry over a minimum amount of points per game turn. Usually the horse index
Peanuts, get your peanuts here.
force the horse to carry over less because the horse is already really good. And then the jockey ratings essentially have the opposite effect, where a better jockey will allow the horse to carry over points. So you can play around with them and have one or the other or both. So I'll put these back to the way they were. And the horse index really isn't going to affect the movement a whole lot in the tournament races, because nearly every horse is going to be an index 1 because they're the cream of the crop for a given year. So we'll go ahead and flip this one back on. And then there's also one called horse stress affects movement. And that also, depending
get your
on
peanuts
where
here.
the horse is, with, like in the middle of a pack, or leading the race, or up against the rail, it could detract from the horse's movement allowance that it's given at the beginning of each game turn. Go ahead and do that. Save changes. And then let's go ahead and get on to the finals race card. First thing we'll do here is we'll take a look at all of the bettors and see how they're ranked. And you can see we have the cooler crossed the $3,000 mark last week. And you have quite a few, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that have been able to win more money than they started with.
Peanuts, get your peanuts here.
You see myself and haven't been doing too well lately. And also, I had mentioned something about the win percentage column that we added a week or so ago. I actually got it to work correctly as far as sorting. When you click on the column heading, and you see that real has the best winning percentage. You said 59%, all the way down to Pop Player 12%. And you see Pop Player actually makes a good wager or two, because he's now has a little bit of money to work with in the finals without having to go to the bank or Lenny the Shark to get a loan. So we return, and we'll go ahead and get back to the race card. First race that we'll be running on the race card is one of the 2 match races, and we'll just take a look at the 1920 match race, which I think is in the all-time great 1 day it is. Okay, so we'll go to
Welcome
feature
to
races
APBA
so we can find it. Okay, here it is. It's the Kenilworth Park Gold Cup. Click on it and you have third part and post 1, Battle War 2. Of course, as I had mentioned before, these are real life match races that occurred. And for a little bit of information about this, this was Man O' War's last competitive race before he retired. And it's also an interesting fact that this is also the only race in his career where he actually raced an older horse. In 1920, Mandalore was 3, Sir Barton was 4. Let's go ahead and view the race card.
The track conditions are
And
fast.
here you have the odds. The early line is very close to each other. Barton 6-1, Mandalore 7-1. Both are paying off exactly the same as far as the betting public is concerned for the win. And like I had mentioned last week, on a match race, you're only able to wager on the winner. So let's see if we have any rumors about what passes fables. And you hear Mandalore trader looking worried as he passes the wad to a stranger in a black trench coat. Now, I probably haven't really gone into anything about, much about these rumors, but normally, if you click on the rumor to look for a rumor, there's a very good chance that the rumor will affect the horse in some minor way. In this particular case, I'll leave it up to your imagination on what could possibly affect Man of War. So let's go to Homestretch Harry, and he thinks he's pretty even himself. He has a handicap rating of 27 for both of them. He's kind of up in the air too on which horse would be the favorite. So I think that's it for this race. It is going to be a 10 furlong race, and it's going to be at Kenilworth Park, and it's a $75,000 course. And if I remember correctly, at that time in 1920, as you can see, this is a very late race in the season. That is the highest purse that has ever been accumulated for a particular race. And we're not drawing post positions because these are the real life post positions, and we'll just leave them alone. Okay, let's go ahead back and return to the main menu. One other thing I'd like to point out, I may have pointed out last week, that all the match races are being run within their particular season. I did not want to add the match races to the schedule, but the schedule is essentially there to run the tournament. Let's go ahead and go to 1975. And we'll pick up a match race there.
Welcome to APBA.
So let's go through these and see if we can find the match race. Oh, there it is. The Great Match Rate Stakes. Now we'll pull the horses in. And you see this is Ruffian and Fully Pleasure. Both of the horses are 3-year-olds in 75. And for all your horse enthusiasts back there, you'll know that this is the race of Ruffy and Crush. And, oh well, you kind of know what happened. So we'll recreate this race. Hopefully neither of the horses will get injured. And we'll have an interesting race. So let's go ahead over to the race card.
The track conditions are fast.
Okay, this race was run at Belmont Park on July the 6th. The first was a very good $350,000. On dirt condition was found. These post positions, again, like the other match races, these are the official post positions that the horses ran in real life. Let's see if we pick up a rumor in this race. And we walk past the tables again. And you hear a stable boy or the trainer was holding back on the ruffian during this morning's workout. Hopefully that's not an indication that Ruffian has already suffered some minor injury that nobody actually picked up on in 1975. Let's go to Home Trek Cherry and see what he has to offer. And you see favors Ruffian just a little bit over Foolish Pleasure. And you can see the odds, Ruffian 8-1, early morning odds along with Foolish Pleasure 11-1. But the betting public seems to be betting on Foolish Pleasure, although the odds 2-1 is pretty close. Ruffian would pay off 210, while Foolish Pleasure 110. Okay, again, we're not going to draw post vision, but we're going with the real life ones. So let's go ahead back to the main screen. And we'll check out the finals. Skip the season. And that is the winners of two competitors is G. And I think I went over this real early, but the DRM2 season is the official data disc, and DRMG is a clone of 2. And again, the reason why I decided to do that is since this is the tournament, you have to place horses throughout the tournament in the field, so I always wanted to keep the original without any of the tournament changes as we went through the races of the tournament. That way you can always go back and start fresh by just quoting ERM2 data disc again. So we'll click on the G version. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the feature races here.
Welcome to APBA Down.
And of course, there's just one left to run, and that's the TRG finals. Go ahead and get the horses. And you see I've already put the horses in the field. You see Seattle Flu, Rachel Alexandria, Northern Dancer, Smarty Jones, Spectacular Bid, Omaha, Resin Star, and Affirming. See, we can take a look and we'll refresh ourselves on the races. Yeah, we'll take a little refresher course. Let's just keep it here, I guess. Go up here. And okay, these are the wagers. There we go. I didn't put. Guess I have to physically go to. So let's go ahead and return to the main screen real quick just to see the race results from both of the semifinals. Race results, skip the races, and we'll go to Mhm. Okay, for some reason I'm not being able to display the race results to the two semifinals, so anyway, we'll just go back and finish up
Welcome
this
to APBA Down.
episode by picking up the race car. We'll take a quick look at it.
The track conditions are fast.
And you can see the early morning line. Most of them are pretty close. Seattle, Sioux, and Omaha are not among the favorites. I'm not sure if you can consider them long shots or not, but as far as the betting public is concerned, Omaha is definitely the long shot, paying off $73.60 for a $1 shot. Same with Seattle Sioux is over 40, and the Risen Store seems to be the favorite right now as far as the betting public is concerned. Of course, we have the rest of the week to accumulate more bets in the betting public, so as I have mentioned to you in the past, the odds to $1 will fluctuate and probably be a bit different when we get to the starting gate and ready to start the race. Let's take a look at the rumors. We're over at Aunt Heidi's. And we have the same issue that came up with, I think, Man of War. Omaha trailer looking worried as he passes the wad to the stranger in the black trench coat. So, same thing, Omaha should have something to do with those bonds being so high for an excellent payoff. So let's see what Ultra Sherry has to say. You see Rachel Alexandria, a Northern Dancer, or his top handicaps, and he'll be wagering on one of them on Sunday along with you. And I think that's about it. Kind of interesting. Omaha is down at the very bottom. So I think that's it for here. I guess we can go over the, it's going to be a one quarter mile, that's 10 furlong, very similar to a Kentucky Derby race. And of course on dirt and fast track. And this purse is $8 million. Go back to the screen. Let's go to the Hall of Fame. See if we can get any good information from here. See if this, well, Rachel's been in every one. And he's not showing the semis, so we'll have to take a quick look at that before we get into the next episode. So, I think that's going to be it from TRG Central. We'll be signing off. Again, remember Sunday at 8 p.m. will be the start time for the finals. And our winners of 2+ Triple Crown races and Special Friends tournament. Again, Gary signing off from TRG Central. Have a good night.